This video will present a project response based on my previous 1-minute video which explored the book Grid Systems by Joseph Miller Brockman, and also my strong unrequited love for him. If you wish to see this initial video, you are able to find it by scanning this QR code. Throughout Swiss typographic and communication design during the modernist era, there has always been an unbreakable relationship between design and architecture. As the Swiss positioned themselves as the successors to the Bauhaus in the 1940s, grids and structures within communication design had started coming from these material constraints. This was primarily because the Bauhaus was conceptualized as the school of modern architecture. Based on all this body of research, for my own practice, I found myself looking carefully at the tile designs on pavements. I always felt there was something I could do more with the architectural elements that we tend to ignore. Therefore, I decided to create a poster based on this rigid and tactile subject matter. I initially tried to collect a variety of pavement photographs and felt it was only right for me to physically capture and gather as many as I could. However, it came to a limit with all the bad weather, and I admittedly had surfed online for more variety. For the actual creative making of the poster, I aimed to follow as much similar details as seen in modernist Swiss posters. I first decided to use a 5-column grid with margins intruding more on the sides, with a trial and error of different row numbers to see what was best with my number of visual assets. The width of the gutter is larger for the rows, in order to give space to the potential lines that might be placed underneath the images. I ensure to keep the images portrayed in the same style by capturing them from above as flat as possible, cropped, and all black and white. Helvetica was used as my primary typeface. Plain sans serif typefaces were most prominently used within Swiss design, as was recognized as the perfected modern form with no reference to history. This particular practice of design is recognized to be very new and radical in the late 1950s to early 1970s. I visually translated each photograph into different grid system types, and this whole procedure of taking away from an architectural element onto digital guidelines seemed to be as intentional as it could get. Also, the format of a folded poster seemed very interesting to me, and I felt it was something that could be easily incorporated, especially when working with grid systems. I named the title of the poster as a poster that you didn't think you might need for designers. I felt this clearly reflected the outcome that I was making. By collating these raw examples of tile pattern variations collected from outdoors, there was an ability to evolve these visual constraints and qualities into a more conceptual use. You are able to see examples of raw grid systems developed in preparation for communication design. I imagine this poster to be used as a starting point for those looking for more experimental grid system ideas. It ultimately aims to convey these pavements as a stimulus in graphic communication design, and suggests the endless spectrum of inspiration that we can collect from.